What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Joined here today with longtime Arsenal member Courtney Bailey. Courtney, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I opened Arsenal in May of 2015. When did you join?
I joined in October of 2015, so
Man,
just a few months later.
yeah, just a few months later. So I mean, basically the entire time that Arsenal has been alive, you have been a part of it.
Yeah, basically, I think if I remember back, I think that I was one of the top 15. So
Yeah,
for
probably.
15, and I think that even included, you and your whole family and,
Yeah,
the first couple folks that joined. So
yeah.
I think it was one of the first New You programs that I joined.
Was it a New You program that you came in through?
Yeah, I did New You. So I think there was about 12 of us in the program that did the 6-week New You program.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it started well, I first did the no sweat intro. I think you were doing the no sweat intros at
Yeah,
that time. And I lived right down the street. And I said, if I don't go here, it's the closest place to me. I won't go anywhere. And I went in for the no sweat intro, and you threw me on a rower, and I was like, I think this is a sweat intro.
it was a sweat intro back then. I put everybody through just a mini workout rather than like sitting down and having a conversation like we do right now.
Yeah, and so then I did the New You program, and so we did the 6-week. I think we did it 3 times a week, and
Yep.
we also started. The beginning of that program, we did. I think Fight Gone Bad, was that the workout we did?
I think
Which was
so.
like
Mhm.
a minute on 5 different things, and you did that 3 times for total reps. And we did that at the beginning and the end of the 6 weeks to kind of see what's going on. And I hope you aren't hearing a lot of background noise. My dog decided to go take a big drink of water right below me.
Oh, you're fine. I feel like the more dogs we have on this show, the better. Yeah. So, what brought you in? Like, what got you to sign up for the New You Challenge and to coming for an intro?
Yeah, so I would say, obviously I said like the closest thing. So for the little bit of background, I moved to Pittsburgh in 2013 right after college. And so I'd been here for about 2 years. I was pretty junior in my career, and I had been working 2 jobs for the first 2 years I had lived here in Pittsburgh. I'd been burning the candle at both ends. I worked 7 days a week for those first 2 years, and I started to have some health anxiety and insomnia around that time. So I wasn't sleeping well. I was really tired. I was working too much and still trying to have a social life. And so I started to feel like something was wrong in my body, and I didn't know what it was or what was going on. I had went to my primary care physician, and they had wanted to actually prescribe me some anti-anxiety medication. And I have nothing against medication or anyone that requires that. I think it really helps a lot of people. But before I, explored that avenue, I was like, I think I should just take my health into my
See what
own
kind of
hands.
lifestyle changes you can make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I knew that the gym had opened up right down the street. I had lived in Lawrenceville. And so I said, if I don't go here, I won't go anywhere. And I actually had no intention of doing CrossFit at the time. I was intimidated by it. I had not really done a lot of weightlifting. And so I had planned on joining for boot camp. So at the time, Megan had run boot camp.
Mhm.
And I think it was, those classes were only 3 days a week. And one
Yep.
of those days was the day that I worked in my second job. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to go as often as I wanted to if I was solely doing boot camp. And so I said, all right, I'll give it a try. I'll see what this CrossFit stuff's about. And then, just have been doing it ever since.
Yeah. How was your first couple of months? Like once you got through the New You Challenge and you jumped into regular classes, what was going through your mind?
It was awful. It was so hard. The New You classes were really great because there was a bunch of us doing it together, and we had not, none of us had experienced it before. And so it was great to learn all of those things, especially the terminology. I think I remember even in the beginning, I couldn't remember all the words, and I called a goblet squat a gargoyle squat. And someone was like, I have no idea what you're
That's
talking about.
that's perfect though. I think that's so much better.
Yeah. And so, after New You, it really felt like, oh my gosh, we're jumping in the deep end. And at that time, there were so few members that class sizes were like 1 to 3 people. I remember
Yeah.
that. And I think we had talked about this on the podcast before. My first workout after New You and everything was so terrible. It was 100 burpee pull-ups for time, and
Yep.
everybody hates burpees, and I couldn't do any pull-ups. So in my mind, I was like, I'll just do this until the time cap and then it'll be done. And then we hit the time cap and you were like, just keep going and finish. And I was like, dang it, I didn't do that. And so, I think those earlier classes of just everyone's support, even though I felt like I was so far behind in my fitness, everyone supported and everyone waited for me to be done. And it didn't feel like it was pressure. It felt like it was support. And so really feeling like everyone was there for the class time. Everyone's workout was just as important as the other person's. And we're all going to stand there and cheer you on and wait for you to be done. And then everyone can get their workout in.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned like wanting to make some lifestyle changes when you first got started. How long was it after starting to work out and like really take your health and fitness into your own hands that you saw some of those things start to subside a little bit?
So I would say it was pretty immediate. So I tried to do at least 3 days a week. I was trying to stay consistent with that. And, very shortly after I joined the gym, so I joined in October. That November, I actually got a new job. And so I was able to kind of start focusing on one full-time job. By the next June, I was able to quit that second job. So having my nights free, having my weekends free, focusing on my sleep and hydration. I think I've done almost all of the nutrition challenges that have happened
Yeah.
at the gym. So,
Yeah.
starting very basic, I think it was even Steve's program where we were really just talking about getting proteins and carbs, like good carbs in every single meal. And it was not as intense of doing a very specific program or macros. So really starting to understand nutrition a bit more. And then I did some of the other challenges. We looked at paleo, we had looked at macros, we had done partner challenges and individual challenges. So, doing nutrition a bunch of different ways was a really great way for me to understand it and then also understand what works for me because I think my entire life I had only ever been exposed to like the yo-yo dieting and being like very extreme and intense at one point, and then you obviously fall off because it's not sustainable. So I would say within the first 6 months, I really started to feel stronger and more confident at the gym, and that led to the consistency, and the friendships come from there and the accountability. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, 8 years is a long time. So, I mean, what's made you stick around for the past 8 years?
Wow, yeah, 8 years is a long time, and, for me, it Arsenal's the only place I've been consistent for that long. I've tried other programs. I played sports in high school, tried to do things in college, and then afterwards nothing really stuck. And I think the convenience of living in Lawrenceville and having the gym so close, as well as the community of like having a good group of friends and knowing that you're all showing up together, you're going there, you're going to work out hard. And then those friendships have really built into my personal life. And so it really is about friends who support each other in the gym and outside of it. So I would say just that consistency and support and being able to do that every week over week, as long as I still live in the area, I don't see going anywhere else.
Yeah. So there's always been like I feel like everyone comes to a point in their fitness journey where they're like a little bit more inconsistent than they would like to be, or like maybe even get to the point where they're considering quitting. Has that ever happened to you? And how did you push through it?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever considered quitting. I would say that my biggest obstacle, other than obviously the pandemic, was really hard, and not
Yeah.
being able to go was really hard. Trying to do the virtual workouts, and at that time I was in an apartment, so that was pretty challenging. But there was always that excitement to go back. I would say the hardest thing for me was back in January of 2021. I actually had surgery, so I had breast reduction surgery, which I had been thinking about for a really long time, and went through with it and really enjoyed it. But I had never had major surgery before, and I didn't know how that was going to impact my fitness or, how I would come back from that. It was really scary. The thought of having major surgery and then ever doing a burpee again
Yeah,
was
yes. So like I think that's so important, and I'm so happy that you mentioned it because having to take the little bit of time off for legitimate reasons like that a lot of time just like leads to people who have been consistent in the past just completely falling off and never finding that rhythm again. I was actually just thinking about like Joanna and like even her foot surgery and how like she's really worked to be consistent through that. So I think that like you bringing that up too is so important to hear. It's like there are going to be times where you're not able to come as much as you would like, but if you can just push through that, you will find that rhythm again.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's great that you mentioned that. So Joanna is actually who I stayed with when I had surgery. And so like we've definitely built that friendship and that support with each other. Like she took care of me when I had surgery. When I first started trying to work out again and I wasn't ready to go back to the gym, I would actually go in her basement and use her spin bike and bands and anything like that to help do that rehab. And Shannon also really, really helped in that, helping me with how to do things with bands and light resistance to get used to it again. And then all of the coaches, as I went back in, were really understanding of, I might have overscaled a little bit too long because I was afraid. I was afraid of hurting myself or impacting, the surgical results or, doing too much too soon. And so everyone was really supportive of like, how do you even scale something that's completely different? I couldn't hang from the rig. I didn't have a barbell. I wasn't doing burpees. So really being creative in ways of like keeping me in and feeling like I was a part of the class, even though I couldn't do all of the movements as I recovered. And that was really great because I was nervous about losing strength. I knew I would feel better overall, but just staying consistent. When I did start to feel comfortable lifting again, I was still hitting barbell PRs, even though I hadn't been pushing it for a while. And I think that just shows the consistency. You're still getting the benefits from it, even if you aren't at the intensity that you've been used to for so long.
Yes, consistency is key. I've been trying to preach consistency over intensity with a lot of new members. I think it's really important that just like you just need to create that habit and find your path. And once you're in it, like you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Favorite Arsenal memory. What is it?
Oh gosh. Favorite Arsenal memory. I don't even know. There's been so many.
Probably something that we don't remember.
I was gonna say you should prep me for that. I would say one of the biggest, like the biggest memory in the gym. I would say one of the open workouts we did, and I don't even remember which year this was. It was in the old gym, and I'm probably the only person in the gym that will say my favorite barbell movement is a snatch. And we had like 1 rep max snatch in an open workout. It was really exciting. And I, went for a lift and I missed it. And I think Allie was judging me and Lane was there and Lane just yelled at me and she was like, pick it up. And I hit that and like everyone erupted. And it was just the greatest feeling of like doing something I had never done before, like that heavy of a weight, feeling the support of the entire team and then kind of celebrating all together. I would say that was probably the most fun moment in the gym. I would say, outside of it, my favorite moment, I remember one of the tailgates we did down at the Pride.
Yeah.
Having everyone there because everyone from different classes all showed up. I have my great little crew in the morning and we all go together. And, for I think my first 5 years, I was an evening person. I did 6:30 p.m. And now for the past couple of years, I've done 6:15 a.m. And, couldn't do that without Tim and Joanna and Yogi, my my group that we all go with together. But I don't see anyone in the evenings, and having those social events are really important to kind of. I see them on Sugar Watt, and kind of cheer them on from afar. But getting to see everyone and interact is really fun.
Yeah. Well, Courtney, I appreciate you taking the time to come on with me today. I mean, honestly, having you for 8 years, I couldn't imagine Arsenal without you. So I'm very appreciative of all the time that you've spent with us.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you all. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be there.
All righty. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Talk to you later.